I'm going to quickly show you how to upload to your directory. You can upload both people and addresses. So the first thing what you're going to want to do is find this link up here from your website, the directory link. And once you're into your directory, you go over to this button over here. This is this 3 dots. This is going to be your main directory menu. And down to here to this link that says upload to directory. Once you're here, all you got to do is click on this and find your export, which should be either a .csv file or a .xls, a Microsoft Excel file. Click on that file and click open. Okay, now the magic that's happened here is assuming that the file that you've uploaded is in the correct format. So let me go over that really quickly. So here I have a file that's actually in Google Docs that you can later export into the correct format. The format that you should export into should either be this format right here, this .csv, and that just means comma separated variable, so it's just kind of in a flat file. But you can also export it in a Microsoft Excel format, which would be XLSX. So either one of those work great. But also the format, the structure of the tables should look, or the spreadsheet should look like this. So there shouldn't be any extra columns. Let's delete this one. And there shouldn't be any blank rows. So let's delete these. Now the acceptable columns that you can upload, if you're going to upload people, if you want to create a person, you should have one of these two columns for sure. And really, you could have either, rather than a full name, you could also have a first name and a last name column. So let me do that for you real quick. Whoops. So let's say that rather than full name, we had first name and last name. And actually, I'm going to pause the video here so you don't have to watch me do all this manually typing. Okay, so I've typed this out just so you can see, you get an idea of what I mean. And really, there would never be a case where you'd have all three of these, I don't think. But my point is that you could either have this or you could have these two. And really, I guess you could have just a last name or first name, but that wouldn't be very useful because then you'd be missing their name. But you would definitely want one of these 4 columns if you're going to be creating a person in your directory. Now for addresses, it's okay to have duplicates. So you'll notice that these 3 people are roommates. So they live at the same address. And this will create one record for this address. And the same thing here, Fred and Melissa, they must be married, and Jane and Adam looks like they're probably married too. So they live in the same address. So this will create 2 people and 1 address. Now, one thing that I should comment on, you should avoid a situation like this, where let's say we have Adam and Jane Marquette. Okay, so we already have them in the database. And let's say we use Adam's email address. This is their information. Okay, and we'll delete Adam and Jane. Actually, I won't delete them, but let's pretend that we deleted them. Okay, all right. So this isn't the ideal situation. The reason for this is that there's a high probability that both Adam and Jane have an email address, and so rather than creating one account for Adam and Jane, it would be better to create 2 accounts, one for Jane and one for Adam, so they could both log in separately, but then join them through the address. So this won't merge their account, but it will show that they live at the same address. So let me go ahead and delete this one because that's not ideal. Great, so our file's ready to upload. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and delete these 2 columns because they're redundant, these 3. So I really don't need this. I'm going to delete this. Great. And now what I want to do is, if you're working in Google Docs, as I am, you want to download the file. I'm going to download it as .csv. Oh, one more thing. If you have multiple sheets, let's say you have multiple sheets over here, it's only going to upload the very first sheet. So a common problem is you'll have an export from, say, QuickBooks. And QuickBooks has the very first sheet is kind of like a cover page with no data on it. And what that's going to do is just going to produce an error. So what you want to do if you're exporting from QuickBooks is make sure that you delete that first sheet and actually that all of your data is only on the very first sheet, because that's the only one that's going to be uploaded to your directory. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these sheets. Actually, I'll keep it on there just so you can see the example of what I'm talking about, how the first, all but the first sheet will be ignored. Great. So I'm going to download as .csv. Great. Then I'll come over here to my directory, go to the Upload to Directory page, click Browse, find my file. This happens to be the one that I just barely edited. And you'll notice that what this does, like I said, this magic, it tries to figure out what each column is. Okay, and you'll notice that it got it right. So this is the full name. Just check each one of these columns to make sure it got it right. Full name, email address, yep, that's correct. Street address, line 1, yes, that's correct. Phone number, correct. Now notice it says pick a label here. And since there's no key fob here, what we're going to do is we're going to say skip this column. Same thing with the account number. We're going to skip this column. Then we'll click upload. Great. And just pay attention to this message. It says your file is uploading. So it's not done yet. It does this in the background, and it's going to send us an email as soon as it's done. So I'll click back to the directory, and actually it happens rather quickly, so it might be done. It's done. Great. But let's just for grins and giggles, we'll come into here and we'll see what the email was that we got. Great. It says your file was uploaded. So it shows the raw data that we uploaded, and it shows the people that were created. 8 people were created, 8 addresses were created. And actually, for some reason, that counts off. There's only 4 addresses that were created. Great. So this worked. So you'll see these are all the people that we had on that file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. We had 8 people. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4 addresses. Those 4 addresses were created. Excellent. The next step would be to invite these people to actually join the community, because while they're in the directory, they can't actually access the site until they've been invited. And that'll be a topic of another video. Great. Again, as always, if you have any questions about this, please contact us at hello@gogladly.com. Thanks.